Ready for number 8 in my list of guitar mastery tips? Well, here it is. Learn to play complete songs and build a song list over time. When was the last time you learned to play a complete new song from beginning to end? It doesn't matter if you're a beginner, intermediate, or advanced player. There is a song that you can learn that's right for your level of playing experience. I'm talking about learning a song so well that you can play along with the original recording or a backing track. I mean, that's why you learned to play guitar in the first place, isn't it? You didn't learn to play guitar so you could sit around doing finger exercises and running through scales. So it doesn't take a genius to figure out that it's very important to constantly learn new material. I've always thought that when you learn a new song, the guitar feels fresh and new again, regardless of how much experience you have playing. But that feeling is short-lived. It's like a monster that constantly needs to be fed. When you become bored playing guitar, the remedy is learn a new song. Conversely, keep playing the same old stuff day in and day out, and your guitar is headed for the closet. My first recommendation is most of the songs that you learn should take no longer than 2 weeks to complete. Now, you will not have mastered them over that period of time, but you should at least know them well enough to play at about 75% of the original tempo. So the first thing that you need to do is to choose music that can be learned that quickly. Chances are, most of the tunes that you'll learn won't be your favorite songs because those songs may be overly complex. I recommend choosing recognizable classic rock tunes. The side benefit is when someone asks you to play guitar, you'll be able to play something that they recognize, and that's always fun. You'll probably spend about 4 hours on a song to really know it well. The best way to learn a new song is to tackle the learning process all in a day or two, followed by 2 weeks of review. To do this, find a day and time when you can concentrate on the song from beginning to end. You might get up and start working at 8 a.m. Saturday morning and pretty much have it under your belt by noon, 4 hours later. Once you know the song, play it through a couple or 3 times daily. Eventually, you may only need to run through it once a week, and that's the way to start building your song list and actually add a song to it every couple of weeks. That's 26 songs a year. To add songs quickly to your list, don't try to learn all the details for each song. Learn each section, like the verse, chorus, bridge, and just repeat this section instead of trying to add all of the details found in the original recording. There's time for that later. Gradually, over time, you can fill in the blanks. Don't know what song is right for your level of playing experience? This is an ongoing topic on our forum. Check out this thread to learn something appropriate for your level of skill. Let's get started with today's lesson. It's a good one. We'll cover the 5-string bar chord. You're going to learn a few common trick techniques like pull and hammer, and some not so common tricks like the pick rake, volume swells, and my personal favorite, the whale mating call. Now don't do this one too close to the ocean. Warning advisory. I will not be responsible for your personal safety or reckless behavior caused by the whale mating call performed in close proximity to the ocean. Let's start with exercise 1. You're safe with this one. It's the pull technique. Last week we did the hammer. The pull is similar. The two techniques are often used together as a hammer pull. Hammer, pull, like this. So it's a hammer and a pull. Now, the hammer pull together is getting a little ahead of ourselves. That's next week. But here's the pull technique. When you do the pull, both these fingers need to be in place for it to work properly. You can't pull and then put this finger down. Simple, but some people don't understand that. So both fingers down and then pull. So I pick and I pull. And here is the most important thing about this technique that even experienced guitarists don't quite understand. I'm not just pulling it off. What I'm doing is I'm actually kind of plucking the string with my ring finger and then pulling it off to sound this note very clearly. So it's a little bit of a pluck, like, you know, that's almost like using that finger as a pick. So I pick, pull, to sound the 3rd string 5th fret without actually picking that note. Now, one thing that will cause you a little bit of a problem, and that is, as you're doing these pull-offs, the strings around them will ring. I'm not going to go into great detail on this muting technique, but I'm actually using both hands a little bit to deaden the strings around the ones that I'm playing. Like when I'm playing that 2nd string, I'm actually grabbing the 1st and 3rd strings right here to kind of mute them. When I go to the 3rd string, I'm grabbing the 2nd and 4th strings to mute them. And a little bit of deadening is going on with the left hand. So I don't want you to stress out on this. It's something that we'll cover in the future. At the same time, as you're practicing this, and it sounds kind of crappy, I just want you to understand why. Easy to do fast. It's really hard to do slow because all of these little clunks and noises come up as you're playing it slow, as you'll see. One thing to be aware of when pulling off a note, to be sure not to pull the string sharp. It's helpful to fret the string very solidly with the 1st finger when you're playing a pull off up here. It's really easy to do something like this and kind of have it go a bit sharp when you're pulling off. So you've got to really be stable here. For exercise 2, we'll move the same exercise up to the A minor position where I am right now at the 5th fret. Here is exercise 2 played very slowly. And you should be able to actually see me kind of plucking it with my fingers. I'm not just going. Here is exercise 2 along with the animated tab. Notice in the tab that the pull-off symbol is beneath the notes on the lower 3 strings and above the notes on the higher strings. This is personal taste. It's not a bad thing if you're doing this by hand to make all of the symbols appear over the notes. Also, this is the exact same symbol used for the hammer technique. as you probably have already noticed. The only way to tell the difference is, are you going from lower to higher? If so, that's a hammer. When going from higher to lower, that's a pull-off. And here's the same pattern using all hammers. That is exercise 3. Here's exercise 3 with the tab. Exercise 4 is the same as exercise 3 with a rhythmic twist. Here is exercise 4 along with the animated tab. Exercise 5 is from my Speed and Accuracy for Lead Guitar program. This one is whole step, whole step. Now, if you have small hands, this may be difficult to perform at this position on the guitar. If so, just move up the neck until you find a place where it's comfortable to do this. So exercise 5, played slowly, whole step. So whole step, then once again, whole step, whole step. Here's exercise 5 with the animated on-screen tab. Next, we're going to cover the 5-string bar. You're expected to get started working on this, but expected to take several weeks to master. In an earlier lesson, I briefly explained this chord, D major. It can be played with 2 different fingerings. One is this, and the other is this. I'm not very good at this way, and I don't recommend playing it that way. I always use the 2-bar technique. Now, the problem with the 2-bar technique is this first string is supposed to sound at the bar and not be muted like this. So you've got to curve this finger a little bit to allow this string to ring through to this bar. It's kind of difficult, and that's why this will take a while to master. One cool thing about it that I mentioned, actually, I don't believe that I showed it to you in the D major position. I believe I showed it to you in C. Not that it makes any difference. The technique's exactly the same. If this string is muted when you're playing it, it's not wrong. It's still a D chord. So, as you're learning how to play this correctly with the first string ringing through to the bar, if you mute it, it's not a big deal. So here are the various shapes associated with this 5-string bar. Here's D major, D minor, lift the pinky, and you've got D minor 7th. For it to sound correctly, the 3rd string must sound at the first bar. And the last one is D7th. Once again, the 3rd string rings through to the bar, and all of this stuff is a bit difficult to play, as you'll see. You're going to be practicing this for weeks and probably months to come to get them to sound perfectly. So major, minor, minor 7th, 7th. And remember, Every one of these can be moved up and down the neck. Here's E minor, C minor, C minor 7. So when you learn these 4 chord shapes, you're actually learning well over 100 chords as you move them up and down the neck. To liven things up a bit, let's begin some easy guitar tricks. First up is the pick rate. Now what you need to pull this off and make it sound like that effect-wise, it takes distortion, digital delay, another word for echo, and reverb. All those effects together make it sound like this. And you can use this like this. So it actually has a real purpose and it sounds great when used in the right place, appropriately. Other things about the technique: angle the pick back a little bit and scrape against the windings. That right there is a cool sound. Remember that. Very slow, makes it sound scary. When you start with a very light touch. And as you end, lighten up. That way, you don't want it to sound like there's a distinct beginning and end. You want to work your way into it and lightly work your way out of it. So, scrape against the grain, against the windings. If you can't do it on the strings that don't have windings, there's just no sound there, so that won't work. The next one is called volume swells. The first thing you do is turn off your volume switch. The second thing is you play a note, and then you use your pinky to raise the volume. Okay, this is the one you've been waiting for, the whale mating call. Turn your guitar off and just play a bass string and bend it. Hold it with all fingers because it's going to take some strength. There's one responding. I think we've got one here. That's about it. Anyway, have some fun with these little tricks. We're going to learn a few next week. We're going to do the bend, and I have a lot of other things in store for you. So see you next week. Looking forward to it.